Thank you for watching another episode of Let's Dish with Lilli. I am Lilli, and I'm so excited because my dear friend, Elizabeth Chance, is with us today. We're going to be eating tacos because she's visiting from LA. You just get better tacos here.
Yeah, well, breakfast tacos. 100%.
Breakfast tacos.
I 100% vouch for Austin's breakfast tacos over LA's.
Mm-hmm. Good to know, good to know. I went to that home state place that you mentioned.
What did you think?
Not a fan, but I'm also not a fan of, like, torchies.
Okay.
But I get why people like torchies.
Yeah. I agree with you. It's a good, like, supplemental thing when I'm in LA if I'm like, I need queso or a breakfast taco, but it's not, like, the real thing.
Yeah. And also I went, like, someone took us to home state. I was like, we're going back to Texas. Like,
I live in Austin, so I don't need this. Thank you.
But thank you for joining me.
Of course.
I'm excited to talk to you about your 2017. We're going to be talking 2017, 2018 projects, hearing from Elizabeth and what she's up to because it's exciting stuff. But we're also going to be talking about bad dates. And then I want to end it on, like, self-care and self-love.
I love that.
Feel good about that?
Yeah, sounds perfect.
Okay. So where are you at? Tell us what you're doing. You just had your premiere. It's a web series, right?
Yeah. So I guess it's kind of weird to call it like a web series now since it's on Prime. So
it's on Amazon Prime. It's called Segs.
Yeah. So we made it like 2 years ago when I was still living in Austin. Lauren Canuti is my writing partner, and we had this idea and truly, like, we conceived the idea, but it was everybody else who helped that made it happen because so many people donated, like, time and their skills and everything. And so to me, when I push it or, like, say anything, I'm like, I was just a part of this greater thing that, like, everybody helped with. And so yeah, we finally finished that and got it up on Prime, which is very cool because I feel like a lot of my family members are able to watch it through that and would probably not have watched it on, like, YouTube. And so yeah, we had Gita. Do you know Gita?
Yes.
So she was the one who did all of that, and thank God because I was like, well, it's done. And
did she edit it?
No, we had Andy Young. Well, we had a bunch of people edit it, but Andy helped. And then Dalton helped. We had 3 different editors. It was insane how many people worked on it because I'm like, and then Sullivan was the last one who, like, brought it together and brought it home, and he was insane. So truly, like, I'm like, I was a part of it, but, like, such a small part. And there are so many Austin people in it.
Yes, I was excited to see.
Very fun to watch. Yeah, it makes me nostalgic for Austin.
Yeah, I remember seeing when you guys were working on it. I remember seeing you guys shooting, and I was like, what could they do with Seg? So it's let's have you tell the plot or the theme of this show.
So I guess, like, the log line, if I was selling it.
And dig in.
Oh, okay, cool.
There's a lot of variety here. So I'm eating, the first taco I picked up is a bacon, egg, and cheese taco.
This one has bacon and I think potatoes. I'm very excited about it.
Yeah, that was by Liz. Eliz, her request.
So Canuti was a tour guide, a Segway tour guide when she lived here.
Oh, I didn't know that she was. That's funny.
That's how we have, like, connections to the Segway world. And so she like, had this idea, and we wrote this cast of kind of weird characters that would work there, and it's all just about, like, the Segway tourism, and it's like The Office meets Segways, I guess. But yeah, it was such a fun project to do that it's hard to, like, think of the next thing. So I'm like, well, that was very fun. Had all my friends involved.
I watched it earlier this week. Loved it. So Segs, what are you working on now? Segs is out.
Segs is out. Yeah, that's a good question. I'm right now looking to do, like, some sort of short. We're doing a bunch of sketches, so we shot a couple of those recently. But I think the next thing we want to do, I guess we're taking a pilot writing class too, so we'll be writing
cool.
a pilot.
Awesome.
Yeah, there's a bunch up about to happen, but I'm like, who knows which one I'll be most excited about, because I think that's what I'll end up going with, like whether it's the short or the pilot, whatever makes me be like, oh, I'm excited to like revise this. Yeah. Because that's always the hardest part for me, is like being excited once I don't like it anymore.
Oh my god, yeah.
So
writing is tough. I think that's why improv is I've used improv as a crutch, I think. Or 100%. Like I'm like, I don't need to be productive in these other areas, because I can just show up to a show, make it up, get laughs, instant gratification, and I'm good. But you're also are you taking classes at UCB?
So I actually, when I first got to LA, I had just finished the Chicago IO program. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I had gotten placed on a team, but moved too quick to like be on it. Mm-hmm. And Herald auditions were coming up at IO West, and so I was like, I guess I'll just like try an audition. Mm-hmm. And I had to like go through this whole thing because I signed up too late, and I was like, okay, I guess I'm not gonna audition. And I like called the box office a bunch until they finally were like, here's Zach, he'll talk to you about it. And he was like, if we get a spot opened up, like that's all I can offer you. And I was like, okay. And then like a few days before the audition, he was like, hey, here's your time. So that was very cool and like excited. I feel like if I had known for weeks, I would have been nervous, but because I only had a few days to worry about it, I was like, okay, well, it's happening. And I auditioned and got placed on a team, and it was, so I'm doing that, and I've got a couple like indie teams I play with, which is honestly sometimes like I really love playing with my Herald team, but also the indie teams, I'm like, I can do whatever I want, because like nobody's gonna cut me off this team. And so I haven't done UCB, mostly because it's so much money and it's so oversaturated right now that like it's hard to, even once you spend all the money, to kind of make any sort of effect. But I also know plenty of people who are enjoying UCB. Canuti's like a UCB gal. So I get it. And I think eventually I will. I just don't have the money, and I'm doing enough improv that I feel...
Well, yeah, I completely forgot you had taken all these classes at IO.
Yeah.
So Elizabeth, the way I know her is through our Austin-based all-women improv troupe, Toxic Chakra, which you started.
I think Allie and I were the two that were like, we should do this, and then everybody else kind of assimilated.
I didn't know any of you.
Yeah, I think Canuti was, because you and Canuti had a class together, right? And then she was like, Lilli's great, we should add her. And I was like, okay.
I love that.
The rest is history.
Okay, so I think what would be a really fun thing to talk about is, because Valentine's Day is coming up, but we don't want to talk about the good stuff.
Yeah.
We want to talk about bad dates. And you're in a committed relationship.
As are you.
As am I.
True.
So I haven't actually gone on dates in a while.
Same. When you mentioned this, I was like, man, I'm gonna have to like dig deep.
Yeah.
And I'm not a big date person.
I don't know if I am either. I always want to be a date person. I think it's important, and I've mentioned this to Ryan, like, we need to go on dates, okay?
Ryan.
You need to wine and dine me. But then I'm like, do I really?
Can we order food in? I'm a big order food in and like watch TV.
I really love going to the movies with Ryan.
Yeah, that is, in that I feel like I have an attachment to movies when I see them in the theater, whereas if I just watch it in my living room, it like doesn't.
Yeah, I'm like, I could be in my bed or I could be on my phone now.
Oh yeah, I'm always checking my phone, but obviously not in a movie theater.
Obviously not.
Obviously. But
I'm wondering,
I feel like most of my relationships were like friends who I ended up fucking. And then we were just like, okay, now we're dating. So there was no like first date, like will they, won't they situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, I don't have a ton of those, and I've never did any dating apps. Not because I didn't want to. I just am like a serial monogamous and just jump from relationship to relationship.
Yeah,
So
now that you mention that, most of my relationships have been with people I was friends with first, and then I got tricked into being their girlfriend.
It's easy to do that.
Yeah, I'm like, fine. But I did do Tinder one time for 24 hours, and within those 24 hours, I started talking to and then dated someone for about 3 or 4 months. But it was honestly, and I feel bad for saying this, but I was just bored.
Yeah, of course.
And I realized more so as time went on, I was like, I want my weekends back to myself, or like for my friends, or I don't always want to invite this person with me.
Like, don't want him around, and I wish he'd stop calling me.
But I love how he's like always trying to buy me dinner.
so I just kind of want more money, I think, is what it is.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I think I've had that feeling numerous times in relationships, but instead of like addressing it, I'm like, I'll just let the rot away and eat the relationship from the inside out. So that's good. But
yeah, let it rot.
Yeah, I love, one of my favorite things is to go on my friends' Tinders, and I love to look at the pictures. And
no one lets me do this.
Well, I used to do it. One of the first things that Ian and I did was he let me look through his Tinder because we were friends.
Ian is Elizabeth's boyfriend. How long have you been dating now?
We are coming up on 3 years in like January or February. I don't know. We're not big like this anniversary people. But yeah.
I know. Yeah. Neither are myself and Ryan, but I think too. I don't know, because I used to be when I was younger. I was like, yeah, but because the other person was always into that too. I think, but we're not, and I wonder if that's a good or bad thing. I think it's fine, though.
Yeah. I think if both of y'all are fine with it. I
don't resent him. He doesn't resent me.
There you go, Ryan. Take her on a date.
For not, well, we had our 2-year anniversary in October, which we consider Cold Town's anniversary, our anniversary, because that's, we started talking and then we never stopped.
It's easy to remember that way.
We dated immediately, so that's our anniversary. So we had our 2-year anniversary in October, and we were both really busy. And we were like, we'll mention it when it needs to be mentioned. Yeah. But he was in the middle of pre-production for his film, I Am Texas. I was in the middle of... I'm
excited to see that.
Making the bold decision to quit my full-time job.
Which
and
I 100% support.
I love it so much.
I'm honestly, this sweatshirt. Yeah. I always, anytime somebody's like, should I quit my job? I'm like, yes.
Do it. Well, and I'm freelancing. I was like, I have this... to support me. I don't need to be going somewhere where they treat me like shit.
Absolutely. It's just like you live for such a short amount of time. Why do something so much of your time that makes you feel horrible?
Life is so short and so long that why stick around?
I'm like a barista because I don't want to be invested in my job. I'm like, I want to come in and make drinks, and then like when I leave, I'm not thinking about you.
Well, yeah, because you're not wasting your energy or your mental juices at a job. You're there and you have... I imagine it's therapeutic in a way.
Yeah. it also is still... Yeah. It depends. Like the coffee shop I work at right now, I really like. Because it's like the manager's hands off. It's when I have a manager who wants to come in and like micromanage me, and I'm like, dude, I'm making coffee and I don't care that much. Like, I know that sucks to hear, but I just specifically work here because I don't want to care that much. I do have issues with authority. I feel like we didn't really say dates.
I was about to say this is perfect segue back to bad dates, which we're gonna get sidetracked. And that's okay. But do you see a lot of dates happening at this coffee shop?
So not Really. I saw it more when I worked at restaurants, and I would see, like, I saw a proposal at one restaurant. I saw breakups. The worst is when you're, like, approaching the table and you're like, I know I need to, like, be bussing because my manager's going to be asking why I'm not pre-bussing. They're going to be asking why I haven't dropped the bill, and you can, like, visibly see the woman crying, and you're just like, she doesn't want me to go approach them. I don't want to approach them. And you just kind of have to walk up and be like, how's everything going? I'm going to pretend like you're not crying. Can I get the bill? But
you're like, is it raining outside?
Well, and it's like, I know that this is probably, like, maybe top 5 worst moments of your life right now, and I do need to ask for you to pay for your food.
Oh, man.
And you never get good tips on those tables.
Yeah.
But I love watching dates happen.
I would too. But yeah, bad dates. I have had, it's hard to say specific instances because, I remember one. Oh, this is funny. I remember being on a date with my college boyfriend, and we were having sushi, and throughout the date, the entire conversation was so funny because we were talking about, should we break up? And both of us were very natural about it. And we were like, we should probably break up. And then the waiter would come and we were like, thank you. No, we're good. Yeah, thanks. And then continuing, well, I think, this is where I'm at and this is where you're at. And it was just constantly.
But y'all broke up amicably? You weren't like...
We ended it, I think the dinner, like, broken up. And then from the walk to the car, I think we were like, no, let's just stay together.
That's the worst, because you're like, well, this is like comfortable. And, like, I know we both kind of just outlined why we aren't right for each other, but we're already this far in, and it'd be easier to date you than
I
think
think what it was is like we were just better friends.
Do you stay friends with exes?
Not typically, but not even so much because I have beef or anything or ill feelings, ill will toward these people, but I only have truly like 3 exes I consider, relationships. And that's being generous because really I would say 2. The first one was from high school to college, and it was a little over 2 years that we dated. And he was so nice.
Guy?
No.
Okay.
This guy was so nice. We never fought in 2 years of dating. Not one. I think
That's bizarre.
A couple of times I had a fight in front of him with myself. It was always just like, why can't I get anything out of you? I'm like, you can't be happy all the time.
I'm sorry. I love you.
He's like, you're absolutely right. Like, just very agreeable and stuff. But anyway, I broke up with him and I didn't stay friends with him because I thought that would be hard. And I also was, how old was I when we broke up? 20. So, I was ready to party. That summer I went crazy. I had a real fun summer.
I mean, that's very mature to make that decision, though. I feel like my high school boyfriend, we dated, we broke up, we dated, we broke up, we dated, we broke up, because I was so afraid of, like, not having that emotional support that I just let it go forever. I was just like, until I find somebody else to emotionally support me, you're in. So I'm a monster, is kind of...
I will say, I realized I needed to break up with him because I wasn't even inviting him out, like, I'm an asshole. I broke up with him the day after my birthday. Accepted my birthday gift.
Oh, I was like, it's your birthday, it wasn't his.
I was like, thank you. And then I made it about me. I'm like breaking up with him and I'm here crying.
He was like,
because I didn't, I was like, I don't want to be doing this. Okay. I wanted it to just like be clean cut.
I mean...
But
I truly don't think there's ever like a good breakup. I've had so many friends be like, I just want to break up with him at the right time, or I want to break up.
Yes.
And I'm like, there's no right way.
There's
like,
no. I think I fucked up his semester or something because I waited until like right after finals were done to break up with him when I should have broken up with him when I initially wanted to, which was a few months prior to that. and I couldn't bring myself to do it. But again, yeah, it was very
the
much
finals
just
were done.
So I was like, oh, let me wait till after finals because he'll be focused and everything. But it was coming. Like, you felt it. It was palpable that this was ending.
Where you're just like, I'm trying to avoid
so then I went to the beach with a bunch of my friends for my birthday, and I didn't invite him. I'm a dick.
I mean,
I was.
Same.
But also, I think it worked out for everyone. He's happily married now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm very happy for him.
Congrats.
Congrats. And then the one that we sushi not broke up. I didn't talk to him for a long time. And then ran into him and like have caught up here and there, but I'm not trying to be friends with him.
Yeah, you're like, if I see you, we're cool.
I have a lot of friends.
I feel the same way. I'm like, I don't need to have a friend who I have like weird baggage with, who like...
Yeah.
I mean, and there's also like always a reason that we broke up, and it's usually a hurtful one that like, is gonna create deep-seated resentment in me because I never break things off when I should. Yeah,
so this guy too, Sushi, he used to blog about me on Tumblr, and it was so embarrassing. It was embarrassing.
Was it like romantic? Like
no. Well, some of it was, and I was like, I'm a muse. I am someone's muse.
But some of it was mean.
Some of it was like, because I think we broke up and got back together a couple of times, and some of those first times it was me breaking up with him, and it was always like angry poetry or short stories, and I'm like, this is so obviously about me.
And it's bad.
Yeah, and it's just, it was embarrassing.
Yeah.
But
I had a guy write an allegory story about me. He had broken up with me because he was going on tour with his band, which I truly think was the only reason that I was like feeling it, because we were just like different people. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he thought he was funnier than me, which was not true. He wrote me this incredibly long allegory story about a bear trapped in a cave. Honestly, this is like very vulnerable, and I hope he doesn't watch this because I do think he would be embarrassed by it. So hopefully he's
That's
not
why
subscribed.
We're not using names, because we're good.
He'd know. He would know, because he's the only boy who's ever written me a bear allegory story. But it was like a bear in an ice cage, and it melted, and then like, but he was too like cold to like see the love or something, and I was like, aww. It wasn't very good.
I'm saying all I know, like embarrassed.
I was pretty embarrassed, and I was like, thank you, and no thank you.
Thanks, but this actually solidified my initial
feeling. I was like, this is so much. And he was actually probably the worst date I've ever been on. It was one of those where you're like, the end is coming. We both feel it. We are both like emotionally withdrawing from each other. So we went and saw Revolutionary Road. Did you ever see that? It's like,
I remember hearing the name
most depressing movie. He was like, we gotta go see it. It's like nominated for stuff. And I was like, all right, whatever. And so we went to the Angelica, which is like this
in Dallas.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look up Revolutionary Road, but keep talking.
Yeah, it's like fucking depressing. It's Kate Winslet and Leonardo DiCaprio, and they're like in this loveless marriage, but they like used to be in love. It's like this whole thing that like if you're in a relationship too long, eventually the love goes away, is what I took from it. And we're both sitting there watching it like, oh my god, like we're Kate and Leo right now.
Yeah.
And so after the movie, there's just this like cloud over us. We both know it's coming, and he walks me across the street to this hotel. He's like, I've got a surprise for you. And so we go in, and he's like, come on, let's go to the elevator. Like, it's clearly like he thinks he's in like an indie rom-com. And we go in, and the elevator, we don't have a key card, so we could only get up to like the 3rd floor. And then he was like, I want to show you the view. And so we go out to this like window at the end of a hallway, and it was like not a good view. It was like the highway. And I was like, we're breaking up, aren't we? And he was like, no, like I don't. And so it lasted. We started breaking up at this hotel, and then he drove me home.
And you both established that this is not a great view. It's kind of silly to be there.
It's a metaphor for our relationship. Or I drove him home, because he like didn't have a car at the time. And so I drove him home, and then he was like, yeah, I think I just need this time. And I was like, okay. And I remember I listened to Slow Dancing in a Burning Room on the way home like 5 times, and then I was like, all right, cool, I think I'm over it. And then I got the allegory story. Good. It's so good. It's holds up 100%. If you're going through a breakup, him and Death Cab are my like 2. Like, I'm trying to be sad. I'm trying to emotionally manipulate myself into crying because I need to.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel like you're like clogged up from not crying, and you're like, I need to?
And my go-to usually is a Grey's Anatomy episode.
Oh God! If you go onto YouTube and watch dogs being reunited with their military dads,
those videos.
I don't care much for the children ones, but when the dog, I'm just like, that dog didn't even know that you were gonna come back. Like that dog did not. Probably thought you're dead. I think about it every time I leave the house and I leave my dog. I'm like, I get why she's sad, because she doesn't know if I'm coming back.
I'm picturing you coming home in a military uniform now.
I'm like, hey, I could. It's usually just a barista apron, but feels pretty dramatic.
You were so ready for it.
No, I'm sure it was a great. The face that I'm making, I always feel like it looks like the moon emoji, because it's like perfectly round and it's just this like tiny little smile.
Isn't that your cover photo? Is the moon emoji?
Now it's sex promo, but I still stand by that moon emoji.
Are you into Valentine's Day?
I think it's more about because to me, I've done the like go like get dressed up, go to have a reservation, go to a restaurant. And that is, like, so not me. Like, it's so stressful to me.
It feels weird, right? I always thought I was into that because I had to be. I thought I had to be. And then, more so when I was younger.
Yeah. Well, yeah, of course. Because you're like, this is what...
Yeah, I'm thinking that now. I remember my very first boyfriend when I was, I think, 15. Was like, I'm gonna take you out, and we went to Applebee's.
But for me, like Valentine's Day, probably my favorite one recently was it was 2 years ago, and we were in Chicago looking for a place where we were gonna move in, and it was 12 degrees and it was snowing so hard, and I like have had very little experience with snow, so it was so pretty, and we ordered in Chinese food, and we watched Ian's favorite rom-com, which is Tin Cup, which is, I would not even rank it in my top 10.
I don't know.
It's about a golfer who, like...
I already hate it.
Yeah, I was like, he pitched it to me, and he was like, you'll like it, I promise you'll like it. And afterwards, I was like, I mean, good for you, but I don't like it.
I'm happy that this makes you happy.
Yeah, I was like, you don't even like golf, why do you... But, Tin Cup, and we watched that, and the snow was coming down, and I was just like, this is so much better than... We had talked about, like, trying to get a reservation somewhere, and I was like, I would prefer to be in my elastic pants.
So what do you do for self-care? What are some of your self-care go-tos, practices? How do you show yourself some love?
It's a great... I think, like, I love a bath, but... on a more, like, realistic, like, day to day, I feel like taking time to do, like, nothing, taking time to be, like, you don't have to do something you feel like you're obligated to do. You don't have to do something that somebody else has asked you to do. And whether that means, like, sitting down and watching an episode of Riverdale, or, like, walking around with my dog, or doing something that's, like, really, like, laying in bed and being quiet. To me, that's like so much, because it's just like even stuff like writing. I feel like sometimes when I'm like pushing myself, I'm like, you need to do this. Like, it's like this idea. I get all caught up in like, if I'm not writing enough, like I'm not good enough. I'm not this. I'm not that. And it's like, if you've read Brené Brown's book, Gifts of Imperfection, it's like
I downloaded it, one of them on Audible.
I mean, I think they all kind of have similar themes, which is like, you are already worthy. You don't have to do things to be worthy of love. And so to me, that's like a big mantra. Like, I already have love. I'm already worthy of it. Like, nothing I can do will make me more or less worthy.
I like that.
Yeah, so I think like repeating mantras like that to me, because I can be so rough with myself and just like kind of mean, just like, especially if I don't feel like I'm producing enough work or doing enough, or if I've had like a lazy day. I can be pretty shitty to myself.
Yeah, I feel that.
What about you?
Some of my go-to my go-to is sometimes just walking around the mall.
I love that. That's such a like 90s nostalgic
I think that's why I like to do it, because I loved going to the mall when I was younger. But because I don't always know how to limit myself, I think a lot of my self-care stuff is like just listening to good happy music. And again, like my music choices these days are I was talking about this recently with Ryan, how my music taste used to be pretty good, and I like wanted to get to know the artist and this and that, and now I'm like, a pop song that comes on, if it gets me within like 3 like lyrics or something, if I can repeat it and now I know the words, I'm all about it.
Add it to playlist. I feel the same way. I feel like for such a long time I was like, you know, like music is like part of an identity. Music is like, I want to be able to tell people like I'm listening to these like cool whatever, and now I'm like, I don't give a shit. Like,
what I appreciate about music now is sometimes the mindlessness of it, that I can just listen to this party about having fun, and
I don't even have to go to it.
Yeah, I don't even have to be at this party. I'm having the party.
Yeah.
In my earbuds. Some other self-care stuff. I really love putting makeup on. And I'm not good at it, but sometimes I like to just put lipstick on, or like feel better about my exterior. You know?
I think that's so cool, because it's like also like a sensory like touch thing, and you're like engaging with your body, you know? So I'm like, hey, that's good.
I'm pretty full. How about you?
I am too. I'm like, if I sit here, I will keep eating until
I know. I keep wanting to, just because I it's in front of me and it's good.
It is good.
But I'm getting pretty full, so I think it's a good time to wrap up. Before we go, though, I want you to tell everyone where they can find Segs, and where they can, I don't know, what else are you working on that you want to plug?
I guess, so Segs for sure. Go to Amazon Prime and search Segs, S-E-G-S.
S-E-G-S.
And it'll pop up. It's like a half an hour, each episode's 5 minutes, so you can plow through it pretty quick. And then if you go to Facebook and go and like Elks Entertainment, Elks Entertainment,
ELKS Entertainment.
That way, because we post a lot of like sketches through that, and just like kind of general info if we're like gonna do a festival, or if we're like planning on, who knows what. If you want more information, that would be the place to get it.
Elks Entertainment.
So,
on
check
Facebook.
that out.
I like it. You should like it.
Follow.
And you guys have put out some great sketches. I love the letter, when you're writing letters to each other, and then there's one about IUDs, which hits home. For
also,
me.
Plugging IUDs. I am a big supporter of IUDs. They're great.
I have
Did you have a bad experience with them?
Well, getting an IUD inserted is torture, but also I think it really affects my mood. I'm at a point where I'm like, is this me or is this my IUD?
Yeah. I feel that way too, but I've been on birth control since I'm 16.
That's
so
why too. And then
am I just a crazy person, or is it my hormones?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So exactly, and I should probably make this a topic in the future, but I do feel, I wonder that as well, because I've been on some form of birth control since I was 18. So this is almost 10 years later. I mean 2. And
I'm 20 and I can't drink alcohol.
So no, it's been on and off, and I think I was trying to remember, okay, when was I off birth control? When was I like, how was my mood then? And I was off birth control for 2 years when I was in grad school because I had no time for anything other than my research. And I remember being in good spirits most of the time, and like,
really,
yeah,
I'd be interested. I'm like, I don't know what I'd be like.
Yeah, so I mean, it's definitely effective. I feel super infertile and love it.
Yeah, I'm like, I think I'd have to pick the mood swings over a baby at this point.
Yeah, I can afford the mood swings.
Yeah, truly.
So anyway, good wrap up, good sketch on IUD at Elks Entertainment. Check out Segs, and you'll see some of Elizabeth's great work, her fabulous writing.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me. This was.
I hope you got your
so
taco
good.
fix.
100%, and I'm like, I'll put these in my purse and eat them on the plane.
They're pretty good. Oh my gosh, you should.
I 100%
Do it.
will.
Okay, well, thank you everyone for joining us for another episode of Let's Dish with Lilli. I'm Lilli. Thank you, Elizabeth. We'll see you next time.